Hey everyone, Drew here from the Guarino Team on Long Beach Island, bringing you our latest market update. It was another busy month here in February. We had 36 properties placed under contract, which was the most since October. We also had 14 expired listings, which highlights the fact that buyers are remaining very active, like we've seen post election now into early 2025, but are also willing to be a little bit more selective and allow some of those older, overpriced, aging inventory to go unsold. Thankfully, even with the strong demand and uptick in expireds, we did end a 4 month decline streak in terms of total inventory, thanks to a rise in new listings and combining that with some of that aging inventory, which we'll touch on in just a second, that's anchoring down a good chunk of the total inventory. Looking at February more closely, it was those 52 new listings, which were in line with last February, that allowed the net inventory to increase two homes, which isn't a huge increase, but a welcoming sign for those buyers who were entering the spring market to see things bounce off that low 100s number back into the 120s heading into March and April. Talking about the aging inventory, looking back just 5 months ago in October, we've seen the average days on market increase by 29 days, and we've seen the median days on market increase by 46 days. It's not so much this increase that is something to monitor because typically inventory does age this time of year, but it has been an unusually high demand of buyers the past 4 months, and we're still seeing sellers hold their ground here with 87 properties on the market for over 2 months at an average of 7.5% over the trailing 6 month sale price per square foot. So essentially, sellers are holding their ground on their list price despite buying activity being busier than it usually is for this time of year. So it'll be interesting to see if these numbers begin to decrease or if we see total inventory begin to age even further. When you look at what we can come to expect here in the spring, this is the pre-COVID trends that we typically saw, which started the year slow in terms of both new listings and average homes sold. And then we would see an uptick here in new listings in March, followed by an uptick in property sold, kicking off the spring season, which remained strong from March through June, really the high point of both sales and the strongest period of new listings. But in the post-COVID market, this so much isn't so much the case as we see more of a straight line, essentially a dead flat line here from January through June on both the number of homes sold and not much change in the number of new listings. So the reason this is because a lot of sellers are opting to hold their property and collect increased rental income and come on the market here in the summer months after they either used the property or collected that rental income. So the fact is we're not really seeing that spring jump that we typically did, and buyers are remaining active throughout the year, so it's basically trading one for one. As soon as we have that new inventory, total sales will increase and essentially is buoyed down by the number of new listings we get. So if the post-COVID trend holds true, we'll continue to see a flat line and a one-for-one trade throughout the spring. When you look at previous Marches over the last 3 years, we saw inventory essentially bottom out in each of these years. There was one exception here in April 2021 where that demand remained strong and new listings did not continue onward that trajectory. So we didn't plot this point, but generally we see inventory bottom out around this time of year and then begin to increase the second half of the spring season. Hopefully this trend remains true because as buyers have remained active the past 4 months, I expect the change of the weather for that to continue and even more of them to enter the market in the next few months before the summer season. When you look at the number of sellers on the market right now in the total inventory, sellers undoubtedly remain in control with only 120 some listings on the market, nearly a 75% decrease compared to pre-COVID levels. However, these sellers have to be more mindful and careful in the next few months, especially if they want to move their property before the summer, as far as reducing their price and determining what competing listings come on the market so they don't lose out to those spring buyers on more fairly priced or newer listings. When you talk on the buyer side, this is a complex market right now because we're dealing with a mix of aging inventory and also an uptick in new listings. So it's important to value each property properly because some of those aging listings are still selling near or at list price with the uptick in spring buying here, while others have the opportunity to negotiate 10 or 15% off the list price. So you have to really value that property that's been aging and do the same on new listings because we're seeing some new listings start well above market value and then slowly drop down. And we're seeing some new listings come on at market value and still receive multiple offers. So it's really a property to property case that you have to determine both the market value and the projected demand to ensure you can get the property at a fair price and also not lose it to potential other buyers who are entering the spring market. When you look at what we can expect here in the next month or so, like we touched on in the last chart, the spring market doesn't really bring that bump in new listings like we historically saw, but hopefully can at least remain steady and allow things to trade one for one, giving buyers 45 to 50 new listings a month to choose from, and maybe some of that aging inventory to start decreasing, providing some opportunities to purchase a property either at or below market value. If things do fall short, as they did in 2021, we saw inventory drop down to near 95 listings. So hopefully this isn't the case and we can hold steady, but it'll be interesting to note how many sellers come on the market in the next 30 days to set up for the bulk of the spring season. That is where we're at as of today in March. We will be sure to keep you posted as things unfold down here in the spring. I thank you as always for watching our market report video, and as always, if you have any questions about this report in particular or any properties that you come across, don't hesitate to give us a call, shoot us an email, or send us a text at the information below.